So, we're finally moving through the game's events, and I'm trying not to spend much time on each region.
Unlike other things I've covered, where it takes forever to get through a single game, the majority of the areas are rather short on story, or don't really pertain to the ongoing one, instead reenacting parts of the given movies, but with Heartless, so there's a point in getting Sora, Donald, and Goofy involved in their search for Riku, Kairi, and King Mickey. Most of them are decently handled, and aside from general snarking at them, there's not that much critique, probably because there's not much there.
And considering how scathing I was of the divergences from the established canon with Dot Hack Link, why am I not holding Kingdom Hearts to the same standards with how it sways from that to the Disney cast?
Well, obviously, the simplest explanation is Kingdom Hearts never tries to depict itself as directly reenacting events from the Disney worlds they used in this game. So it's not like they were being insulting and disingenuous to it like Link set itself up as. While events similar to what takes place in the movies happen on a few worlds, it's more in relation to that story being a central part to it. Moreover, they stay true to the characters as was presented in the Disney movies, so feels more consistent and doesn't suffer from character assassination, as they are not derided to promote Sora, Donald, and Goofy as heroes. They help out the characters of each related world in relation to their own enemies, sort out what problems the Heartless influenced or what was caused by allies of the Heartless, and move on while otherwise leaving as they found it, making them for the most part well-presented scenarios.
For as I've said before, I think Daisuke Watanabe is best as a scenario writer, and not the head writer for a game, as he's bad at tying the scenarios together into a cohesive narrative.
For pretty much all of the worlds are standalone islands, meaning the stories there end up having little to no relevance to the greater story arc, which is a bad thing as there's less of a feeling of meaning behind them aside from padding out the game's length. But there's an actual feeling of understanding and connections between hearts forged through people with different beliefs and ways of doing things interacting in an active manner over them being rewritten to mindlessly praise the exploits of a fucking imbecile.
And make no mistake, while Sora has his moments of naivete, idiocy is not a prominent character trait. Hell, he actually has a character arc concerning whether he actually is worthy to wield a Keyblade and able to commit to all of the responsibilities related to that.
Incidentally, I had honestly not intended this to end up being a compare-contrast between Kingdom Hearts and Link when I scheduled these games beside each other, but the faults in Link are massively magnified by slotting the two together. Kingdom Hearts building a game around essentially the same concept, OC character teaming up with past heroes from a given franchise or collective property while in their worlds, and yet doing it so much better.
I'm still not a fan of the series, but in retrospect, I appreciate what it did right in formulating this more, even though such a depiction and story is rather basic and it having some questionable elements.
Though the level design is what wears on you after a while, as it's surprisingly easy to get lost. Especially if you take the route I did, and went to Wonderland first. Wonderland is one of like 3 or 4 difficult to complete levels due to how confusing it is to navigate.
But at least it's meant to be. It's Wonderland! The place is entirely insane, so there's meant to be little logic in arrangement and structural cohesion. It's part of the extra puzzle that is the place.
Hell, even gravity goes wonky in Wonderland. Main story for the area. The Queen of Hearts has her heart attempted to be stolen by the Heartless.
Huh. She should have called Chalice so we could go wild on their asses.
Why?
Anyways, she fingers Alice and thus, we're taken to court.
And considering how crazy court procedure can get, this is surprisingly sane for Wonderland standards.
To prove Alice didn't do it, we need to collect evidence of the Heartless from the local regions and present them to the Queen. Save before you do so, as she chooses the evidence at random. However, Alice is kidnapped, leading to further hunting through the world, one of which leads us to the Mad Hatter's Tea Party.
Except he's not here. I wonder where he went.
Change places!
Wait, what just happened?
Change places!
Damn it, now I need to wash this.
Anyways, the Cheshire Cat leads us to a boss encounter, and this is where it's revealed the talking doorknob has a keyhole inside of its mouth.
There is logic in what he says.
And it is a strangely logical location for it to be in Wonderland. The keyholes, if you're wondering, are what open the doors to Shadow and connect the various worlds to one another, and also what the Heartless pass through.
And the Keyblade can seal these physical manifestations of a metaphysical concept once they are revealed, which are by completing the various story events of a world. Meaning while the Heartless still exist here, they are no longer in danger of destroying a world, and their number can be culled down without worry of reinforcements.
Or metallic stingrays using electromagnetism to open wormholes.
The second open path leads us to the Olympus Coliseum, the world of Hercules.
And I'll admit, this is one of the better story-driven encounters from the supplied material.
Phil, the Satyrs opened an arena for competitors from all across the world to come and gather to fight each other.
Meaning you'll be facing a lot of Heartless.
But the subplot's more around what it means to be a hero in the eyes of Phil, and thus the world. Hades, played by the infamous James Woods.
And I'm kind of wondering how they got James Woods in to reprise his role for this video game. Wasn't he kind of busy doing, 8 movies over the course of the time Kingdom Hearts was in development?
Ooh, a piece of candy. 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 Ooh, a piece of candy.
Anyways, Hades is endeavoring to sabotage the tournament by sending in ringers, one of whom is Cloud Strife.
And I actually really like his design in Kingdom Hearts 1. The traveling cloak worn like a cape works well for someone drifting to different locations in search of his target.
Said target being Sephiroth, who becomes an opponent in the Colosseum after clearing enough of the tournaments. At this point in the story, Cloud's just being used by Hades, who had promised his assistance in locating the one-winged angel if he eliminates Hercules for him.
It's just a bit sad Kingdom Hearts 2 put him in his Advent Children outfit, which is comparatively blander as it's all black. What?
Hades interferes in the match, unleashing Cerberus and wounding Cloud, necessitating the team back up Hercules, which in turn makes Phil recognize them as heroes in training, once the three-headed dog is put down.
You rookies still don't understand what it takes to be a true hero.
That's funny. Neither does Shinichiro Shirakura.
I tried to exploit the power of darkness, but it backfired.
Yeah, that tends to happen to those that have a superpowered evil side that they either manifest or transpose onto another person.
But the two have a nice moment of bonding over their mutual search for the light in their lives. After that, it's off to the jungle, specifically Tarzan, where a fight breaks out between Donald and Sora over searching every planet. Sora wanting to, Donald just wanted to pass a lot of them by without even a glance at it, which causes the ship to crash and for them to be separated. Sora encounters the titular Tarzan and leads him to the camp of Jade and her father, where the group is reunited, though still resentful of the other in a rather childish way that is quickly resolved.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have character friction from them having different goals and motivations, can ya?
This is another flaw I find in the game, that there's little actual character interaction outside of story events. There's no real downtime or way to bond the characters. It's just going from event to event to event, with little seeming downtime to have developments and insights to them. You know, a lot of people give Final Fantasy X flack, but I do vividly remember a bunch of non-critical game exposition that explored their dynamics and evolving relationships. And that game came out a year before this one.
Now that might not seem so bad for many, as since they're present through all of the game events, we get plenty of time to spotlight on them, right? This carries over to the villains.
In that there's little insight beyond they are evil, and this carries over heavily onto Riku, who over time becomes one of the game's central antagonists, making his actions seem shallow, arrogant, and petty, which don't complement his descent into evil. At least with the Disney ones, we can substitute in their canon motivations and desires, such as the hunter named Clayton hunting through the forests for herds of gorillas.
Wait. Clayton... Forest... Herd... Clayton Forrester? My god! I should have named the gummy ship the Satellite of Love!
At least it looks like Pearl finally managed to re-raise her son to be someone better than a guy looking to discover the worst movie ever made in order to take over the world.
And yet he never looked at Adam Sandler's film catalog.
Don't mind Mr. Clayton, he's not a bad person, just a bit impetuous.
茜のこと悪く思わないでね。あの子、根は素直なんだけど、手のつけられない乱暴者なのよ。
Anyways, we're given the run around the jungle, making it another contender for most annoying level design. It does, however, introduce party switching, with region-specific characters joining our exploits and giving the team various advantages. Goofy is the one most commonly traded out, partly because he levels faster than everyone else, meaning the game was designed to do that, partly because, in theory, Donald's magic casting is more critical to keep around as a support ability.
But as for the AI for Donald in Final Mix is really, really stupid, yeah, no. You could switch him out for the specified individual, no problem.
The region-specific character can seem kind of superfluous, though. It's not often they give any special advantage, bonus or unlockable, like switching party members in other games I could name do, but it's decent for a divergence in who you're allied with. Meanwhile, Clayton endeavors to go after the gorillas that are Tarzan's family, which draw the Heartless to the world, ending with the giant chameleon-themed Heartless crushing the hunter, and the group finding the keyhole that seals this world again, while learning the cure spell.
Yes, even Kingdom Hearts has cure spells. What the fuck, Lightning Returns?
But from the ceiling, it's revealed that it contained a nav gummy piece, which is critical in finding more worlds with which to search for King Mickey, the Heartless, and Sora's friends. But none of them know how to program it into their ship, so it's off to Traverse Town, where the villains once more gloat at their progress, allowing glimpses of them beyond Maleficent. Sid can fix up the ship with the block and allow for our first shots at ship customization, while Sora and company finish up some unfinished business, such as finding and sealing the Traverse Town keyhole, and getting some magic training from Merlin.
Though sadly he doesn't give us Excalibur, but that is the default name of the gummy ship. It is not the same as wielding the peerless sword of victory.
Merlin's magic training includes, by way of the fairy godmother taking up residence in his house, the ability to utilize odd gemstones we find that contain within them the essences of beings from worlds swallowed by the Heartless, which act as the game's summons.
Yes, even Kingdom Hearts has summons. What the fuck, Lightning Returns?
They have varying levels of usefulness, but my favorite is Genie. We'll get to him. Lastly, in the house is a tattered old book. We actually return to the old coot first, which he then repairs, taking us into...
No. No way.
Sink, 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 sink.
It's Winnie the Pooh!
Okay, this is probably the most fan service driven area for me. Because I don't care how old I am, Winnie the Pooh is awesome. You don't even really have to fight anything. You just complete minigames and collect items. It's kind of cathartic, honestly, the only difficulty being in retrieving the pages to unlock all the minigames, and in how you kind of need to fight the controls to achieve each challenge.
Yeah, this is the one that always gets my inner child nostalgia going. You got me, Square Enix.
It's too bad that, even in 1.5, the camera and movement controls are not very fine-tuned, so it's easy to overshoot a lot of things that aren't hack and slash. Anyways, as we leave, look who we should encounter but Riku.
And where the hell did he get that sword anyways? What?
Sora's ecstatic, but Riku of course continues to be aloof and nonchalant about everyone else's condition, which changes when Sora is shown to be capable of taking care of himself, and has picked up some companions that aren't him or Kairi, to the point of him completely missing why Sora even did that in the first place.
And considering how quick he was to abandon them and their entire damn world to be able to have the freedom to travel any place he wished, why does Riku even give a damn?
No, seriously, Maleficent is constantly shown to be playing off his envy towards Sora, and making it seem like Sora doesn't care about any of that, so quick to discard their bonds for new ones when the others aren't around. When that is actually what Riku himself is shown doing the entire game. He doesn't seem to really care about anyone but himself, but transfers that personal characteristic onto the friend he abandoned, when the other is found in bad shape.
So, you're failing to make me interpret all of this as Riku being tricked into feeling betrayed that serves as misguided beliefs for his actions game. You're more showing it as him being jealous and his ego bruised.
Though, if someone would not mind, would you please tell me why Riku can just casually steal the Keyblade from Sora? That's never effectively addressed in this game. And why is Donald so adamant about Riku not coming with before he's whisked away? Had that argument not spawned, the three-man band would have expanded their active team, and had that offer been encouraged with the open arms of others, it's questionable that he would have so easily gone back to Maleficent. And Donald doesn't give a good reason for the refusal.
Donald's a dick. A corkscrew dick. It's because he's a duck and ducks have... You know what? Moving on.
We seal the keyhole, get the upgraded Navi Gummy, and take off again. I take a detour back to the Coliseum to participate in another tournament, thus granting me the spell Gravity. Before finally heading off to the next story world, Agrabah.
Arabian nights, like Arabian days, more often than not, hotter than hot in horrendous ways.
No, seriously, if I had to live in a desert, I would straight up kill myself. You have no idea how atrocious my tolerance for heat is. Anyways, Agrabah has the first major sighting of our villains past brooding in the backdrop, with Maleficent and Jafar colluding in finding the keyhole with the Heartless under their...
Wait. Find the keyhole? Don't the Heartless come out of the keyhole to enter a given world?
I mean, yeah, they could have brought them with them, but for them to even cross over in the first place, the world's keyhole has to be unlocked, the related door opened, and thus the Heartless have already come in and should know where it is.
There it is. The storyline plot holes I expect from a writer of Daisuke Watanabe's caliber. Hey guys, that's Shinta from long after the video was done and right after its release. Yeah, that's apparently wrong. Apparently Heartless invade from completely out of nowhere on every world to find the keyhole, so they can go through the keyhole to the heart of every world, corrupt it, and destroy it all at once instead of needing to consume the entire thing in darkness bit by bit, and can only do all of that after a world has been connected. How a world is connected is not explained in this game. What explanation we are given as Heartless emerge is tied to the appearance of the keyhole in this game, meaning keyholes are not normally manifest in such appearances is tied to the Heartless. Since the Heartless are created in Kingdom Hearts, and a world's heart is in turn connected to the Kingdom Hearts, as in the location and not the title of the game, that's how I came across this misconception to try and explain it. I do apologize that I got this exceedingly wrong. Usually I'm better at that. But that tends to be how bad Daisuke Watanabe is at explaining the freaking lore in games he writes. As despite checking every line of dialogue and Ansem report in this game, that at no point was actually made clear to me. Nor was that made clear on the Kingdom Hearts wiki that tries to explain the lore of the entirety of the franchise. I was not kidding with that descriptor of Kingdom Hearts being the predecessor to the problems of the Fabula Nova Crystallis. Thank you to Lewis Williams who commented on this video over on my blog with a correction to this issue. Peer review like this helps to keep me straight.
Though they also tell of the 7 princesses they need to acquire to open the doorway to their goal, which is, of course, Kingdom Hearts.
Except, doesn't Disney have a lot of princesses? Like, a couple times the number of 7? They're kind of notorious for making most of the female leads of their movies into some form of princess, either by royal rank or referred to as such by someone, at least in their animated features.
But their target of the area, Jasmine, has overheard them and endeavors to hide, only to end up attacked by Heartless, which Sora and Co thwarts, and in turn for exposition dump about Aladdin assisting her in escaping, leading to Jafar learning all she does about the situation, and thus necessitating us to go save him from a sand trap, while she runs off and ends up captured.
It was not like they really needed saving. Hit it, Genie!
Wish number 1 coming right up!
and he just poofs them into the cornfields.
Damn it, man, you wasted your wish. You know what you could have had?
A new car!
Though sadly, the game doesn't quite capture the manic comedic antics of the late, great Robin Williams, despite Dan Castellaneta's efforts, as the animation of such are rather sedate. Jasmine's predicament sidelines Aladdin's second wish, additional exposition related to Genie's powers carried out, only for said wish to be used up and wasted. Iago, the parrot, steals the lamp, allowing Jafar to abduct her to the Cave of Wonders, where he uses Genie's powers to reveal the keyhole to Maleficent's delight. It's hard to tell with her when she's not played by Angelina Jolie. They give more elaboration about the princesses needed to open Kingdom Hearts, before Jafar orders Genie to attack, necessitating us to pull him and Jafar down, at least until we can trick him into going full Genie so we can seal him in his own lamp.
Ugh, I hate to be the guy that unleashes that Ifrit. Because Ifrits are malevolent fire-themed genies that twist wish. You know what? Never mind.
Jasmine's taken, and Sora seals the keyhole, before the Cave of Wonders collapses, though it's still accessible from transporting via the gummy ship. But, since Jasmine's still out there, Aladdin gives the genie his freedom, in exchange for helping save Jasmine, joining the group as the aforementioned summon, before we learn that Riku was responsible for Jasmine's abduction, while everyone else was otherwise indisposed, beginning his descent into darkness properly.
We had a deal, yes? You help us, and we grant you your wish.
Kyrie!
Yeah, Kyrie's had her heart stolen, which is supposedly motivating him, but why didn't Riku tell Sora that before? I would think that would be something pretty critical to convey to someone you considered a friend, possibly to call him out for his seeming goofing off with new people. I mean, he had to have known before they met again, and delaying the confrontation serves no real purpose narratively, when it could have been used to build up the character conflicts. That's a big damn deal later on, and segue in from the early levels' lightheartedness and fun-loving adventure and search for their friends, to more serious underlying story and quest lines.
And yeah, Maleficent's manipulating him, quite blatantly, and despite knowing it's a trick, Riku's stupid enough to keep following this path.
Silly boy. You're like a son to me. I only want you to be happy.
Henceforth, you shall be known as Darth Vader.
As we've acquired a new Trinity ability, I make my way back to Traverse Town to open up the item synthesis shop, run by Moogles. Throughout the game, you'll be picking up special items from chests and specific monsters, and like many Square games, you need to do this for some of the best stuff. In specific, the game's best sword, the ultimate weapon.
And I can't synthesize more than a dozen items, meaning the ultimate weapon is far beyond my reach.
The reason is the required materials for more than half of the items you can make only drop very rarely from rare types of Heartless hidden in specific zones of the various worlds, which all have special requisites to either defeat or even qualify to get the drop item. And I am incapable of killing any of them as a result as I screw it up. Or, if I can, it takes a staggering amount of effort or an unreasonable amount of time to pull off the feat. But even then, the drop rate is tiny for the needed items.
On my PS2 runs, I admit I'd always rely on using cheat devices like a Game Shark for the items, as it was literally the only way around it without spending several times the length of the game to even get them. Item collection is always hell in Square titles, but Kingdom Hearts is once again a precursor to how bad it would get in the Fabula Nova Crystallis games. As it is, I put in 20 hours just attempting it before I gave up. Essentially 40% of the game length all over again, just grinding, and I got nothing. Absolutely nothing to show for it.
Granted, not all of the needed items drop from the monsters. A fair chunk are hidden in the treasure chests of the environment, but still others are locked to special minigames in other parts of the world. Tarzan's Jungle, for example, has this vine-grinding minigame that holds one of the non-drop rare reagents, but I can never complete all of the courses on the circuit for such to get the damn item. You're better off with the Oathkeeper, Lionheart, or Divine Rose from the late end of the game, Or, for 1.5 owners, just beat fucking Sephiroth for his one-winged angel swords.
Yeah, kicking the ass of Square's most popular antagonist is an easier to perform feat than obtaining the game's damn synthesis requirements. Ah, crap. Well, that's what I get for buying a budget model replacement negator. Excuse me for a second. Oh god, my spleen! That's funny, neither does 20th Century Fox. That's funny, neither does Shoji Yonemura. That's funny, neither does DC Entertainment. That's funny, neither does the cast of Ryuki. That's funny, neither does Masashi Kishimoto. That's funny, neither does Joe Quesada.
Please.
Well, that's patched up. More or less. Now, distance tests. Why is the distance on this thing so short now? Aren't soul gems supposed to be, like, able to remote control the body from, like, 50 meters away? I know it didn't used to be so short, now before I managed to steal it back in my body. I really wish that damn bunny cat hadn't gone MIA. At least he could have held a conversation on this thing. Be a resource to figure it out. Oh well, that's something else I have to work on. At least the stronger chain will keep it from coming loose as easily. Right, I need to be marathoning Garo for October. Yikio!
Maybe the time is right.